Alrighty, now let's go on to section 2, which is rationalizing a denominator. And our direction is to rationalize and simplify. So in a little bit, you will see what it means to rationalize the denominator. But first, let's simplify this. So we have the square root of 7 over 21. When I look at that, I see that they both have a 7 in common. So what are we going to do? We're going to divide top and bottom by 7 over 7. And then we get the square root of 1 over 3. We know this is not done because it doesn't satisfy the second condition, where it says the radicand does not contain a fraction. This is obviously a fraction, so we have to keep going. So we're going to use the division property, and this becomes square root of 1 over the square root of 3. Square root of 1 is 1 because 1 squared is 1, and square root of 3, so because it has an exponent of 1 and the index is 2, we know that this is as simplified as it's going to get. However, we're still not done because now this doesn't satisfy the third condition where it says there are no radicals in the denominator of a fraction. So now we are going to use the process rationalizing the denominator. So what am I going to do? So our goal is to get rid of this radical, right? So let's talk about this property. So there's a property where you have the nth root of x to the n, and we know that this will equal x. Why? So putting a step in between, this becomes x to the n, 1 over n. When you multiply that, you get x to the 1, which is x. Right? So this property is really helpful. So what does that tell us? If we have something with the same base, like squared, so we want to make them the same, the index and the exponent the same, and then we'll get x, right? So when you do this, you want to multiply this by 3 over 3. So why? Because, let's do the top, so this becomes the square root of 3. When I do this, so square root of 3 times square root of 3, this is also the square root of 3 times 3. What is 3 times 3? It is 3 squared, right? And then our index is 2. So we get what we want from doing that, right? So I guess another way to think about it would be the square root of 3 and then times x times what would equal 3, right? And so we would get, you would notice like 3 times 3. Right? So now, when I do this, this becomes the square root of 3 times square root of 3, as from over here, this becomes 3 squared. The square root of 3 squared is not simplified because this, the power is the same as the index, so we know this can be simplified more, and from using the property up here, we know that it is whatever it is the radicand. So it is 3. Right? So this is our answer. A good rule of thumb when you rationalize the denominator with one term, so for example, let's use a different color. So for example, if I had like 1 over square root of 5, right? You always, or even just 1 over square root of b. If I multiply this top and bottom by square root of b, this becomes square root of b over b, right? So always multiply it by whatever is in the denominator, and you will always rationalize the denominator that way.